This is on the Prairie Mobile text line, of course, at 306-840-8777. From Leonard, writes in, you dance with the one that brought you. That is what Winnipeg did. They coached smart and played smart. Riders did not coach smart or play smart. Riders' coaching staff had a good season, lessons learned. Head coach should do a better job with time management. And he goes on to say some not nice things here. So there's that. What else do we have? Alex Dick from the 639 writes in, and he says, I've been living in Iqaluit. Am I saying that right? That's up on the terrace?
I think that's right.
Iqaluit? Thank you, Tyson, from the sponsors coach. He says, for the past couple months, and the sports doctor is the regular radio man up here on Raven Rock 99.9. I haven't tuned in today because I knew there would be gloating. Go Ticats. That's from Alex. Listen, I'm cheering for Winnipeg. I'm going out of my way to say I'm cheering for Winnipeg. I was cheering for Winnipeg all year. And I know there's a lot of Rider fans that are saying, how could you cheer for Winnipeg? That's our top rival. Look, I'm a sportsman. I love the sport. I love those guys in Winnipeg and Paul LaPolice and Richie Hall and the guys that I know and Zach. It reminds me when the Moose Jaw Warriors went to the WHL final in 06, I was pulling for them to win. They're the Pat's top rival, but I don't know. It was something about it. Smitty, you get it?
Absolutely.
It's sports. It's sportsmanship. Maybe you should try it.
When Winnipeg lost to Saskatchewan in 1972, Abenshan, Lancaster, etc., I cheered for the Riders the next week. It was ingrained in me by my dad. You got to cheer for the West. So, hey.
There you go. Whatever it is, hey, you cheer for who you want, and I'll cheer who I want. How's that sound? It sounds like the fight that I had with Daryl Sutter the other night in Paradise Hill, which, by the way, I will be talking about in the overtime segment. Brian Sutter had a referee between me and his brother Daryl. Man, that's still mad about that. Some guy wrote in here about Corey Chamberlain and the Argos coaching staff. And it was during the John Murphy interview. And I want to bring Mike Benevides on this. There's some speculation in Edmonton with Jason Maas. Kari Jones hasn't re-signed in Montreal yet, although we're told it's a...
fait accompli.
Yeah, fait accompli. Thank you. Nice. French. How are you with talking about guys' jobs? I mean, you've been axed. Everybody gets axed. Yeah. But are you uneasy talking about it in the TSN role now?
Yeah, I mean, basically, they're all contemporaries, meaning I've worked with them or worked against or competed against them. So, if someone's working, you want to make sure that they continue to work because you know how hard they and how much they invest into it. When you talk about Jason, I've told everybody, I mean, the man deserves to be there. He's won playoff games. The first 2 years we were there, he took a Grey Cup team and we went to the final in the East on a crossover team. So 3 out of the 4 years he's been there, he's went to a final. So that's you want to have a chance, you want to compete. So I'm a huge believer in him. In terms of where Kahari is, I took Kahari. He's got more leverage than anybody in the world that I've ever seen. I mean, you just talk about. Just look at what he was able to accomplish, and he was polar opposite to what Mike Sherman was. They won 10 games. They found a quarterback, developed a quarterback who was supposed to be our guy in BC, by the way. And then
which one? You went through $1 million in Montreal.
No, but the one right now is Vernon.
Adams. You were supposed to have him in BC way back.
When we were there, he was on the neg list, and they came out and they said when Lule's done, he's the next guy, and they loved him, and he did a great job at Oregon, obviously, and had a great Senior Bowl. But that's another story. But he's done a great job in Montreal, and if he's not there, but the dynamics there, Rod, is is very complicated. No GM, the team owns it. Is the owner going to come? Is the owner not going to come? But he's done a great job, and the quarterback loves him. In terms of Toronto, as you just heard Murph say, there was a lot of different scenarios that they got to review and go through. Mm-hmm. So that's a decision they got to make. And if you're throwing for 300 yards and you're doing a lot of good things, there's still some good things. So you have to filter through and see where the problem is. So it's that time of year. It's always the same crap. And I don't like talking about it, but it's the reality of the business we signed up for. But those men should continue to work and do what they're going to do. But nobody has got the leverage that the Kahari has right now. And I told him, dude, you got leverage like never seen again in your career.
Yeah, don't blow it.
No, I mean, it's a great opportunity for him.
Now, did you see what I mean? You put the quarter in and wind him up, and then he goes.
It's perfect. Yeah, but on the TSN, you still only get your 30 to 45 second hits.
Here
you can get
not even 20 seconds. That's why this is beautiful. You get to talk and you get to relate with people. Over there, it's like 20 seconds. You got the producer in your ear. God love him. 5 seconds, Benny.
And then
you want to talk about details and coverages. And what are you laughing at? You try to talk about different things, and then you can't talk cut coverage or two-man or this and that. Can't get too techie. But going back to the coaches thing, if they don't keep Jay, there's something wrong. In my opinion, that's absolute absurd. But it'll take him about 5 minutes to get a phone call.
Well, we're hearing otherwise, that's what we're hearing, that he and the GM aren't talking that much. And by the way, you can get techie with our viewers. 95% of our viewers are in Western Canada. We have the analytics to prove it.
Nice.
37% women who love football. That's why they're writing in today. Well, they're here to see you, Benny. Hopefully you'll take your jacket off by the end of the...
I see that. I mean, it's impressive.
A lot of women writing in, yeah.
It's amazing. I love it. It's awesome.
No, it's good. Well, they're football fans too.
Hi, ladies.
Yeah. If you're lucky, Benny will take his shirt off.
Next time.
Shirt's coming off soon.
But it's that time of year, and then it's always complicated.
Well, so that's the fun thing about Grey Cup, and I'm not going. If the Riders were in, I was going to go. They're not in, so I'm not going. I've been to 20. I don't at this time need to go to 21, and I got other things to do this week. However, as you know, Grey Cup is about the football game and then about the business side and the coaching carousel and all the rest. And Smitty and I went deep on Friday about this exact thing on the coaching and the personnel. And I remember, Benny, when you were up potentially going to be the head coach here, I knew some of your assistant coaches that were going to come and they were just hanging on the balance of whether this happened or not. Yeah. And that's a hard way to live. Yeah. And now Chamberlain and all his assistant coaches are living in that way.
Affects a lot of lives.
Talk to some of those. Yeah, and I wouldn't want to live it, so God bless you guys. And that's why I don't like ripping coaches, because of the work that they put in and the nomadic lifestyle that they live. Now, having said all that, you mentioned the Montreal situation with no GM, and I've got guys saying to me, some guys have called from the States and said, how can they hire a coach and they don't have a GM? Who's doing this? And I said, well, guys, I don't think coaches necessarily see the big picture. I'm like, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. It's not necessarily right, but I've heard Eric Tillman's in the running for Montreal, and that Murph could potentially leave the Argos. That Murph's involved, maybe, because that would be a step up for Murph.
For sure. And one of the the most veteran guys in this league, who you did a sensational video with, by the way, on your YouTube stuff with Wally. I mean,
thanks.
It was awesome. And I have a sweet spot for that man anyways, but long story short, it was announced last week that he's a consultant, right? To try and help them find who the next guy is. So, they have him at the table with the league to try and figure that out. And, there's a lot, people say, oh, there's no GMs. We're the next GM candidates. There's a lot of good men in the league. So they'll figure that out. But it's a different scenario. And in the other league, the head coaches are hiring the GM. So I'm sure there's a question to Kahari, like, who do you think you could work with? I'm sure that's being asked, for sure.
I would think anybody could work with Kahari, couldn't you? Or he could work with anybody.
Yeah, he gets along with
guy.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart of a guy. He gets along with it. He's fiery, he motivates, and it's just. I talked about it yesterday. Just the football gods in the universe put the right guy at the right time, and I said, Kahari, you got a ton of leverage, baby. Use it.
Yeah, right now you're on top.
I mean, when you have players coming out with a 10-win situation, the home playoff game, first time since 2014, and Vernon Adams out there speaking as he is about his head coach. That's all you want. You want belief in the room, and they believe in him.
I want to say this, because you got to run to the airport, but on the Wally interview, I appreciate that you watched it. And what I love about this show is people are going back and watching old videos. They're all there on our Facebook page. And the stuff Wally said in that interview was unbelievable. Yeah. One, he would have liked to have coached in Saskatchewan if he'd had the opportunity.
Told me that several times.
Right. Two, he didn't take any credit for anything he did as coach. He said Roy was finding me players in Calgary and BC. It was the scout, which we all know, but the fans don't know.
And Obilovich.
Well, he specifically said Roy. Yeah. He didn't say
there's a lineage here. I'm sure people would know.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember what else, but Wally was just like dropping like knowledge bombs all over the place that he wouldn't normally do in another interview. So that's, if you're wondering why this show's gone so well, I think that's why. Guys can be themselves.
Yeah. You can wear a hat.
And you can wear a hat, whatever you want.
And just the audience.
They can write, hi, lady.
I love it.
That's great. All right, I wish you could stay for hour two, Benny, but I know you got to get to the airport.
Yes, sir.
We'll be watching this week. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me anytime. Love to.
All right. We'll be back in hour two, and we have, looking by the board, we've got Keon Raymond, Stamps, great. Tori Gurley, our NFL insider. Mike Abu-Meshrik will be in the bunkers. Well, did you see that he performed there he is. Look at him. Batman around the corner. Abu-Meshrik handed out the West Division Championship trophy. Did you say something to the Bombers that they skedaddled? They took off.
It's tough to give something.
Yeah, Abu's.
Nobody wants to touch it anymore.
Nobody wants to touch it. Hamilton touched it.
You're watching Rod Pedersen on demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.